أهلا بكم. في عصر يحط الخطى بإيقاع سريع تتراكم ضغوطه الحياتية بكثافة مقلقة، رأى الملايين في رياضة اليوغا والتأمل مبتغاهم في استراق لحظات من الصفاء الروحي، يعتقدون أنها البلسم للمحافظة على صحة الجسد والعقل، على سلامة الذهن والجسد. ممتهنوها أو لنقل عشاقها يحدثونك عن تجارب شخصية جمعت لهم بين اللياقة البدنية والعقلية. أتباع طقوسها وتمارينها اليوم بالملايين في العالم، منهم العامة والنخب والنجوم والمشاهير وقادة الدول. لن أكون إيجابية أو سلبية في تقييمي لمجال باعي قصير فيه، فالإيجابية والسلبية وجهان لعملة واحدة، كلاهما يحاول تغيير الحقيقة. والعهدة على ضيفنا في هذه الحلقة الذي وجد ضالته في ارتقائه لأعلى المراتب في بحر اليوغا الذي لا ساحل له. ضيفنا الحكيم الملهم سادغورو، ظاهرة فكرية في التنظير لعالم خال من الأوجاع، عالم يعشق الحياة ويتذوق طعم الإنسانية بكل تجلياتها. رجل من العلامات البارزة في الهند الحديثة، جل أفكاره البسيطة تبدو غير مألوفة بالنسبة لنا. هو القائل: الحياة ليس فيها خوف، الحياة بعقلك تخلق الخوف. كل عباراته دروس في الحياة، لا يهم هل ما تفعله صحيح أم خطأ، مهما كان ما تفعله افعله بجمال. تأسرك أفكاره، تحتار في الأسلوب السهل الممتنع. جمال الربيع في أن الثمرة لم تأتي بعد، لكن الزهرة تعد بذلك. اليوغا والتأمل في نظره طريقة تصوف وزهد وتأمل، غايتها تحقيق تجربة روحية عميقة. لذلك أنشأ مؤسسة إيشا الخيرية يقدم من خلالها برامج اليوغا والتأمل في دول عديدة من العالم. هي ذراعه في غوث الملهوف وعلاج المريض، بها ينفع الناس. ينتسب لها أكثر من 4 ملايين متطوع، تسترشد به الأمم المتحدة. يدعى ضيف شرف في أكبر وأهم المنتديات الدولية. يؤثر عنه قوله: لا تأخذ الحياة على محمل الجد أكثر من اللازم، فهي مجرد مسرحية في نهاية المطاف. تصعب الإحاطة بالحكيم، أحرى إن كان هو سادغورو معنا اليوم. معه سنحظى بلحظات من فيض خواطره. Welcome to Dubai and thank you for accepting our invitation in مقابل النقاش show on Dubai TV. You know, preparing for this show, I read a lot. I listened to your speeches, your in conferences, and I want to ask you. I wonder, is it normal that I am left with more questions than answer?
A question is a tool to dig deeper. It takes a lot of work to bring profoundness to your question, and that's very important. If you ask a question and I give you an absolutist answer, if I do that, there are only 2 options for you. Either you have to believe me or you have to disbelieve me. If you believe me, you will not get any closer to reality. If you disbelieve me, you will not get any closer to reality. With belief, you will have a positive story. With disbelief, you will have a negative story. But if your questions mature, old questions will get dissolved, new questions will come up. This is growth.
This is very good. بعد الفاصل سنحاول الغوص مع ضيفنا في عميق أفكاره. ابقوا معنا. أهلا بكم مشاهدينا الكرام في هذه الحلقة الخاصة نستضيف فيها سادغورو. سادغورو, human and humanity is suffering today. We are witnessing wars, sectarian strifes, disease epidemic, famine. Seems a word out of control and anticipation. We cannot even anticipate what is the future. How did we get into this?
Maybe being in the news business, you feel that way. But if you genuinely look at it, there are less wars on the planet than ever before. There is less famine than ever before. There is less epidemic than ever before. How the world was 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago, today if you look at it, all these things are better. Our only problem is we are causing an ecological disaster. Otherwise, all the other aspects have improved phenomenally. It is just that 1,000 years ago, if 1,000 people died in some part of the world, we would be sitting here very peacefully watching the sunset right now. But today, if 10 people die somewhere in some corner of the world, the blood will ooze in our sitting rooms, in our bedrooms, through the television. And they'll keep it up 24/7. It's just going on. So because of this, we have a sense that too much violence is happening, too much disease is happening. It's not true. It's much better than ever before. This does not mean we should not strive for eliminating whatever problems we still have. We should strive for that. But let's not focus on the negative so much, because all the work that we have done will go waste.
I have to tell you, I have very negative questions for today. You know, I ask this question because everything is relative. When what happened before compared to nowadays, we didn't have enough medicine, we didn't have enough food, we didn't have technology and development. We have all this today and we still have problems. That's why I asked the question.
So today for the first time, the first time in the history of humanity, we have the necessary resource, capability and technology. What is missing is an inclusive consciousness. We have not experienced each other as one life. This does not mean we must know somebody to experience them as one life. Life in the existence is happening as one. You can excuse the other creatures because they are not capable of knowing. Once you become human, you are supposed to know. You are supposed to pay attention to the nature of life. If you pay attention to the life that you are, how you are happening, you would know that you are not an independent life. You are an individual life, but not an independent life. It is happening in sync with everything else. Because we did not understand this, we have destroyed the world in so many ways. We thought worms are not important, insects are not important, animals are not important, plants are not important. Now we are realizing as they go away, our life will go away. So this is not just among human beings, the violence is across the species. What violence we cause to other species, we have no law for it to be punished, so we think it is all right. It's not all right. Any life that we destroy is violence. So why this is happening in spite of all this is just this. There is no inclusiveness. We are becoming more and more exclusive. As people get this… the type of education we are giving to our children today, the more educated somebody gets, more exclusive they become. They will not become inclusive because we are just using the intellect to separate everything. We are not embracing life around us. So this has to come into our education systems, this has to come to our value systems of daily life, this has to come into our workspaces, that without inclusiveness, we are going to waste ourselves working against each other all the time. Only in inclusiveness, we will work together and make life very simple and easy for everybody.
Does that explain the fears from the other ideology, ideas, thoughts, the anxiety and stress from the future, and the prominent… is now a prominent feature of a human being in 21st century? How did big part of people nowadays get trapped in this vicious circle of frustration, misery and collective rage?
So if you look at it, what happens within a human being is entirely caused by him or her within themselves.
Yeah.
Your joy and misery happens within you. Pain and pleasure happens within you. Right now actually even what is light and darkness happens only within you. Because what is light for you is darkness for some other creature. What is darkness for them is light for you. So, this is all the way it is happening within us, or in other words, the very basis of your experience is within you. When the very basis of experience is within you, should you not determine what is the nature of your experience? If you did determine what is the nature of your experience, would you make it pleasant or unpleasant for yourself? Definitely pleasant. If there is a choice right now within you, either to be blissful or stressful or miserable, what's your choice? Definitely to be blissful. So this ability to exercise this choice is something that we have not spread across in the society. We have not brought this into our children's lives. We have not made this a part of our education, that the most important thing for a human being is that you are a wonderful human being. If you are a wonderful human being, when you are feeling wonderful within yourself, you naturally do wonderful things to everybody. When you are feeling horrible within yourself, you will do horrible things to other people. In every human being can notice this. When they're happy, if you meet them, they are wonderful people. If you meet them when they're miserable, angry, frustrated, whatever else, they can be nasty human beings. So this dimension of life has been neglected in our eagerness to develop our economies, to exploit the world, do whatever. We are busy fixing the world. Yes, world needs to be fixed to some extent. But we think by fixing the world, everything will be all right. No, we also need to fix this human being. Fixing this human being means we have all gotten committed to individual identities and prejudices. From the simple aspect of gender, we are the same species, but gender has become like two different species. Nations, ideologies, race, religion, all kinds of things have divided and fractured humanity in so many different ways. It is time that we instill this in our children and the future generations, that life happens as one big whole. But it is the magnanimity of the creation that it gives us an individual experience, but actually it's happening as one whole. Either we understand this now, or we will anyway get it when we are buried. When we are buried, we all become part of the land. Same soil, isn't it?
Yes, but if this generation doesn't understand what you are saying, and they are not getting there, and they will never educate as well their children, we are in this with generation who is running the world, that is adopting more and more introvert policies, closing frontiers, building walls, rejecting others. So we are fearing each other. How do you think we can correct this if they don't understand what they are doing is wrong, and it will be worse on the world and impact in the future?
So discrimination on the basis of race, religion, culture has been a long history, unfortunately. Above all, when people believe things which are not in their experience, when people take strong stands that what I believe is right, what you believe must be wrong, there is no end to this. But at the same time, a time is coming where human intellect has matured to a place where most human beings today, a large segment at least, have come to a place, unless something is logically correct, they cannot swallow it. In the coming few decades, you will see next generation will become such, no matter what it is, from which authority it comes, unless it's logically correct and scientifically verifiable, people will not take it. This future is very close, it is coming. So once this happens, what this means is, authority cannot be the truth. Truth can be the only authority. When that happens, we will tend to do the right things. Will everything get fixed? No. We will tend to do the right things. But this fear of wanting to build walls, wanting to segregate themselves, protect themselves, is because one thing is, there is huge economic disparity between one society and another. So those who have don't want to share with those who don't have. And those who don't have are not striving to have, they're striving to take, will not work. So, this is not a simple problem that you can just fix like that by one word. It needs a lot of work. And above all, separation comes from fear. We want to protect. I would want to protect myself from you if I fear you. If I don't fear you, there's nothing to protect. But fear has come because of certain actions and certain situations. So there are many areas that need to be attended to, it's not a simple situation.
It's like we are all having identity crisis. Who are we nowadays? Throughout the research, I came across this quote because I want to bring the quote on the Arab word. Mere tolerance does not cut it. We need to create an atmosphere of acceptance that embraces life in all its diversity. Middle East is a region where most of its country is lacking peace, acceptance and tolerance in an environment of hate, unfortunately, that we are witnessing today in the region. How can we enjoy and embrace life?
See, when there is strife, when there is war, when there is killing, this looks like ridiculous. But the question is just this: do we want to enhance the problem or do we want to enhance the solution? The solution is only when people become inclusive. Will it happen today or tomorrow or day after tomorrow or 1,000 years later depends on how you and me live today. We may not see it, but we can start it.
Yeah, because your solution is part of individuals. They try to work together. Unfortunately, in these societies, it is very hard to work together. So this is most of the challenges that individuals and people are facing today. They are not winning. The inclusiveness that you are talking, the consciousness is really lacking in this area of the world.
That's why I'm saying, see, if you plant a tree, you may not go and sit under its shade. You may not get to eat the fruit because it takes a certain amount of time. But out of your love for life, you plant a tree. Next generation will enjoy it. Similarly, any great dimension of life, if you start, it will not get completed in your lifetime.
Yes.
If you start and set the right direction, the next generation will take it ahead. So our contribution is this, because as a generation we occupy this planet for a short period of time. Everybody must remember this. Our presence here is just for a short period of time. We don't have to shorten it by fighting each other.
This is the only thing we are doing today. In the era of democratization of technology, innovation, smartphone, internet, social media, we are becoming more and more dependent on all of those tools. I am one of them. They are as important today as food, as water, as breath, as air. I'm sorry for the question. Are we, a human being, becoming stupid? Are we slave? Is this the modern life, life slavery for you?
No, I don't see it that way.
Okay.
Even if you were a caveman, I'm sorry, a cave woman. Usually cave is always with a man, for some reason.
We can live in a cave, it's okay. Cave woman.
You would carry a stick in your hand.
True.
You would never keep the stick down because it was necessary. Maybe there was a snake, maybe there was an animal, maybe there was something else. Always a stick. Today you're carrying a cell phone. I don't see any difference. That stick was useful at that time. This phone is useful now. Now, this is technology which has enabled us to do so many things. I remember 25 years ago, 30 years ago, when I was building the foundation, I had to go into those booths with a black phone and make 100, 200 calls at a time. Today, if I just think about it, my phone calls, all right? If I say a word, it'll call who I want and it's done. So life has become so much better because of a phone. But now people are in a state of compulsiveness. Anything you give, they are so compulsive, they make it into suffering. Compulsive eating, compulsive drinking, compulsive everything.
Yeah.
So the problem is not phone, problem is not something else. Compulsiveness is the problem. The solution is only consciousness, there is no other way.
And controlling ourselves, yes.
No, not controlling, becoming conscious.
Yeah.
If you become conscious, you're liberated, not controlled.
Okay. The one tool that distinguishes us as a human being from other creatures is the mind. What are its limitations? Because after talking about this, it seems everything is in our mind. Something is wrong with us in this world. So I want to ask, what are the limitations of the mind? How it can be the ladder of happiness, or to a happiness, or a stairway to a pain and depression?
Why are you asking me? What are the limitations of the mind? Ask me, what are the great possibilities of the mind?
This mind, it has a lot to explore.
So you never mention the mind in terms of limitations.
Yes.
It's a tremendous possibility.
Possibilities, exactly. This is, you correct me in this. نتمرن نحن وأنتم مع الحكيم سادغورو على اليوغا والتأمل نظريا وفكريا على الأقل. سنتقرب أكثر من فاعل الخير، كاتب أكثر الكتب مبيعات على وجه المعمورة، ولكن بعد هذا الفاصل. أهلا بكم من جديد. حوارنا الشيق مع سادغورو مستمر معكم. We'll get back to you, Sadguru. You are the founder of Isha Foundation in 1992. You've been all over the world.
I have not come to Tunisia.
You have to come to Tunisia. So let's say we will establish in the future that you visit Tunisia in part of your plans in the future to speak like you have spoken in many international major events about yoga and meditation, among also many others things you talk about. Let's say my viewers and myself know absolutely nothing about yoga. How do you define it to us?
The word yoga literally means union. Union means right now there is a sense of individuality to who you are. But this individuality is just the magnanimity of creation. Actually, your life cannot happen for a moment without the assistance of a million other lives. All kinds of creatures are making your life happen, from the bacteria in your body to the variety of things and the entire existence. So, yoga means you experientially know that you are one with everything. Suppose for one moment you experienced that all the life around here in this hall is actually a part of you. Like the 5 fingers of your hand, you experience these 5 people. After that, do I have to teach you morality? Be good to these people, don't kill them, don't harm them. Would it be necessary? What you experience as a part of myself, with that you never have any problem, isn't it?
Yes.
So this is yoga, that you bring yourself to a state where you experience everything as yourself. So in the yogic system, there are 112 ways in which you can come to this state of ultimate union with everything. Even if ultimate union does not happen, even if you experience this much, see what the plant is exhaling, you're inhaling. What you exhale, the plant is inhaling. If you just realized 1/2 of your lungs are actually hanging on the tree, that is a fact.
Yes.
If you experience this, do I have to tell you don't chop the tree? Do I have to tell you protect the environment?
Because I need it.
You would anyway do it because it's a part of you.
It's a part of…
So to bring this experience on all levels of life is yoga.
You said there are 112. Is it many schools or many ways, or one school with many levels?
See, the schools happen later on.
Okay.
This is just an exploration of human mechanism. If we explore the human mechanism that you are, see, you being a person is your idea. Fundamentally, this mechanism is working, which we call as human being. In this mechanism, there are 112 energy points, junction points where energy channels are meeting, which are all a possible opening if you know how to open it. So we are talking technically 112 ways. Out of these 112 ways, at one time in India, they became over 1800 schools of yoga. This is human problem When people can't get along with each other, they'll make one more school and one more school.
Even in yoga, they don't get along in this?
There are.
Confrontation?
No confrontation. There's
Development of
See,
ways.
there's no confrontation because there's no belief system. It does not ascribe to any belief system. It is only an exploration. So you cannot confront, but you can differ in your opinion.
How can you convince millions of the Arab world that yoga is not a sport for rich stars, famous people to show off and relax?
See, whether you're rich or poor, especially if you're poor. If you're rich, maybe even if you're stupid, your life will happen. If you're poor, you've got to be smart.
That's the only way we have.
Yes.
Yes, to make it in life.
That's the only wealth you have.
Yes.
So, in your life, if you want to be successful, you must be able to use your body and your mind to the fullest possible extent. That's how one is successful.
Yes.
If this has to happen, believe me, with yoga, you will do everything 10 times better.
How important to enrich our life with spiritual values, to continue a material life that we are describing. It's at some point I see it painful in the world because of the news maybe, and achieve psychological balance in it.
There are three things you mentioned:
Yes.
material life, psychological and spiritual. Let's separate them.
Okay.
Material means body is material, the room is material, what's around us is material. These are arrangements we are making so that our life becomes comfortable, our life becomes convenient. By making these arrangements, our life will never become joyful, it'll become comfortable and convenient, which is good. By keeping our body fit, our life becomes comfortable and convenient. By keeping our mind in a good place, our mind it'll make our life comfortable and convenient. But it will not bring us an exuberance of life. So what you're calling as spiritual is just this. Right now, is it a fact that we acquired this body over a period of time, isn't it? We were not born like this, we were born like this and we became so much now.
And we will go back to…
No, don't go that far.
Okay.
Right now, you're here.
We are here.
I don't want to send you there so quickly.
Okay, I'm here. I'm here. I'm staying at least with you for the interview.
What was a little baby became so much. This means we acquired this. What we acquire can be ours, can never be us. What you call as my mind is a heap of impressions. What you call as my body is a heap of food that we've eaten. We gathered these two things. If we have to gather these two things, there is something more fundamental than that within ourselves. If you eat a piece of bread, it goes inside and becomes human body. When I say human body, on this planet, the most sophisticated machine on this planet is a human system, isn't it?
Sure. Yes.
You can manufacture it with a piece of bread or a banana if you want. So there is an intelligence here which is capable of doing that. If a drop of this intelligence became available to you in a conscious manner, your life will become magical. This is spiritual process. This is not… people around me think I'm some kind of a superhuman. I keep reminding them, this is not about being superhuman. This is about realizing being human itself is super.
Always the other come back in your thoughts and speeches. You have mentioned many times that Isha Yoga is run largely on the strength of the volunteers. How important is volunteering? What can we learn from such great experience?
See, Isha volunteers are a spectacular demonstration of one life looking at larger life, making larger aspects of life more important than my own life. Not because you will get a reward somewhere, simply because that is the nature of your humanity. So volunteering means… to be a volunteer means you're doing everything willingly. Only in your life, only if you're doing everything willingly, will you be joyful, will your life be fulfilling. If you do something unwillingly, that's your hell, isn't it?
Yes, of
The
course.
difference between hell and heaven is just this. If you are living your life doing everything willingly, it's heaven. If you're doing it unwillingly, it's hell, isn't it?
Yes, because
So
we don't want to
volunteer
go.
means just this. He is a willing piece of life.
Is it a source of joy and happiness?
I would not say that. I would say it is the consequence of joy. Because somebody is joyful, they can do this. Otherwise they wouldn't do it. Miserable people cannot do volunteering.
And cannot give and share. You have millions of followers. Your foundation helps millions also. And we are in a country that one of its aim goals and pillar policies is to help, to share, to give. How help, giving, share can transform a society?
See, for any transaction to happen, business or otherwise, you need an atmosphere of trust. Where there is no atmosphere of trust, if you try to run everything by the rule book, that will become an ugly society. So creating that atmosphere of trust is most important. That if you sit here, now both of us are sitting here, if there is an atmosphere of trust, the best will come out of you, the best will come out of me. If I'm suspicious of you and you're suspicious of me and you can't trust me and I can't trust you, what comes out is not of great significance. I'm saying even in just a conversation like this, if big transactions are going on of money and wealth and day-to-day living, if there is no atmosphere of trust, we will create a very ugly society. So it's very important. Even the law operates like this, that it is always striving to create an atmosphere of trust, not everything by the rule book, but people should trust each other and work. Otherwise, you will have everything and you will have nothing.
Yeah. So we have always to share, to give. Whatever we have doesn't mean money, doesn't mean wealth, but maybe sharing even an advice.
See, it's like this. Every human being, every human face that you see in front of you, in a day, I don't know how many you see, every human face you see, either you can impact them negatively or positively, or you can let it pass by.
Yes.
If you impact every face that you meet positively, unknowingly, unasked, you will become a leader. You don't have to ask for it, make me a leader. People will make you a leader.
It's a very important point because we will get back to it and we will talk about it in the last part of this interview. الشباب، المرأة والقيادة في صلب فكر ضيفنا سادغورو. ابقوا معنا بعد الفاصل. أهلا بكم من جديد. حوارنا مستمر في الجزء الأخير من هذه الحلقة من برنامج قابل النقاش مع سادغورو. You said woman is desperately trying to fit into the man's world, which is unfortunately taking its toll. And when it takes a toll on her, a general disruption of life happens. How can women, according to you, Sadguru, achieve, accomplish or succeed in a masculine system and a masculine society?
See, human society should be masculine and feminine in equal proportions. This skewing towards masculinity has happened because we have taken a few wrong steps in terms of we have made economics the most important aspect of our life. If you say a big man in the city, you are not talking about a man with a big heart, or you're not talking about a man with a big brain, you're talking about a man with a big pocket. So our context has changed. We are thinking only in economics. Economics is just procurement for life. So this has always been a masculine thing. Now because we have made it the only thing, that's the only place where a woman also has to participate, there is no other way. That is the only value. If you don't have that one thing, you are no good in the society. Because of that, woman is desperately trying. Individual women may do pretty well in that. I'm not talking about the female, I'm talking about the feminine. See, masculine and feminine are two fundamental qualities in the physical existence. Male and female is just a manifestation of that. So, when we say a woman, we are referring to the feminine nature of who she is. Feminine is being smothered in the world because we have made it in such a way that if you are feminine, you cannot succeed. So a woman understands success means I have to be like a man. This is not a small loss to the world. This is not a simple damage to humanity. This will take away everything beautiful and gentle and soft in our lives, and we will become brutal. So, if you want a humane society, there must be equal proportions of masculine and feminine. It is not that you have to give woman 50% space, it anyway belongs to her, okay?
They don't know that. Some men don't know that.
Well,
they think it's their space and they will give us some of it, part of it.
There's so many things that people don't know, all right? That's not the point. The important thing is, there is a certain symbolism in India. There is a yogi who is called the first yogi, Adi Yogi he's called. He is known as the ultimate man. He is the ultimate man not because he is super macho. He is the ultimate man because he is always the images, the figure is shown, one half of him is a woman. You seen these pictures?
I did.
One part is masculine,
And
the
the other
male,
part?
another part is female. So this is known as the ultimate man because in equal proportions he has. Let us understand it this way, what is masculine and what is feminine are two qualities. These two dimensions of qualities, if you possess both of them in equal proportions, you are a full-fledged human being. If you have only one part of it, you are a half a human being. This is something that has to come into our societies in a big way.
So women has to keep fighting, but
They should not
keeping
fight.
her…
They should know what… they should do what they know best. They must be gentle, they must be beautiful, they must be loving, they
And
must be
succeed
joyful and exuberant, which will draw life in that direction. Fighting means if you fight, I think you're a man, so I will fight you like a man.
Yes. There are quarter of population on Earth from youth. You said that youth has the time for exploration and adventure. Most of youth in Arab world and Arab countries are jobless, out of school, out of their homes or countries because of economic problem or because of wars. In what way this young, desperate, jobless refugee or immigrant young person will find energy to explore and seek for adventure?
See, that's an unfortunate reality which we should fix it quickly as possible. This is a reality which has come out of many complex mechanizations of political, religious, ethnicity, all kinds of things. This is a melting pot of problems, okay? If this has to be fixed, I don't want to offer a political solution to it, there are many problems. But as individual human beings, we have this choice. This may sound cruel when I say this, because when you're in a war zone, when you are starved, when people dear to you are blown into bits, how? But at the same time, many great human beings have shown this capability. When the worst was happening, they showed their best face. Not one or two, many have done this. This is the only answer ultimately, as hard as it may seem. Because if you do one ugly thing and I do another ugly thing, we will have a lot of ugly things going. If you do ugly things, I still Keep doing what I see as the beautiful thing to do. As hard as it may seem, that is the only solution.
It is quite hard. You mentioned earlier the leadership, and you said that people will make you leader, and you cannot ask, make me leader, please. We need leaders in our families, our jobs, and our society. You have mentioned that everybody is a leader in their own sphere of life. You convey to us that the very essence of being a true leader is to be really a leader. Define for us a true leader and how one person can inspire a nation.
See, a leader means political, social, spiritual, whatever kind of leader. Once you're a leader, you have the privilege that you sit on a higher perch than other people. If I'm sitting here and you're sitting there, you must be able to see better than me, isn't it?
Yes.
If you don't see better than me, you will become ridiculous. So once you sit on the perch, you must be able to see better. This means you need insight. So if you have the necessary insight, then people will naturally look up to you because you are able to see something that I cannot see. Immediately I will look up to you because that is all human life is about. Everybody is trying to expand in some way. Most of them may be unconscious about it, but wherever there is an opportunity, human being is trying to expand the possibility of who they are. So if I see you sitting there and you are able to see and experience something that I do not know, naturally I look up to you. The moment me and another 10 people look up to you, you become the leader, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, you are seeing something, but now you must be able to inspire me to do the same. Otherwise, I will look up to you, my neck hurts for some time and then I'll forget about you. Yes?
Yes.
3 days I'll look up to you. After that, I'll ignore you. So, within those 3 days, before I lose interest in you, you must be able to inspire me. You cannot inspire me just with empty words. You have to inspire me with an example, that you are an example that I want to be. So inspiration, insight, inspiration. If these two things have to work, you need integrity. Integrity means, people think it's morality, it's ethics, it's values. No, integrity means just this. Your actions are not about yourself. Your actions are always looking for larger well-being. In your thought, in your emotion and in your action, if you are constantly looking how to make life better all around you, to whatever extent you can, maybe you're just a housewife. For these 4 people in the house, how to make life better? If you're looking, unknowingly you become a leader. If you're doing it in your community, you become a community leader. If you're doing it in the nation, you become a national leader. If you're doing it in the world, you will become a global leader.
I have a good news and a bad news. Which one you want me to start with?
Both news are fine with me if it's true.
They will be true. What do you want me to start with?
If it is true, it is good for me.
So, we have a good news. I still have one rubric. The bad, it will be the last for this interview. Because I wanted to continue honestly, but unfortunately we are limited by the time. This will bring us to the rubric of the 5 questions. I want you to ask me briefly on those 5 words, and I will start with art.
Art? See, art is just imitation of nature. If you keenly observe everything around you, the entire creation is a fantastic art. If you watch a blade of grass or a grasshopper, it's tremendous artwork. If you pay enough attention, you will see nature and creation is the greatest artwork on the planet. And if you imitate some, people will think you're a genius, but actually you're a copycat.
Animals.
Animals are a part of this existence and very vital for our survival. Animals are also a representation and a demonstration of what life could have been and what it has become. We should strive to appreciate them because they're standing there to show us never to become like them.
Politics.
Politics, unfortunately, has become a dirty word, but I don't think so, because if politics and politicians are horrible caricatures, we are the most irresponsible people because most of us are living in democratic countries. If we have handed over the well-being of our lives and the lives of our children and of our nations to those people that we think are horrible. So when we say politics, essentially it is a tremendous responsibility of making policies for the well-being of the people of a nation. Unfortunately, we have misunderstood the word politics. When we say you are doing politics, we think you are doing something negative. No. Politics means it is the responsibility of setting the course for the well-being of everybody. So this must be brought into the right context.
Kids.
Children are fresh life. The problem with most people is the moment a child arrives, they think they have to teach them something. But if you look at most adults and the children are definitely far more joyful than those adults. Then definitely children must be the consultants for life. Instead of consulting the child, you're trying to order the child around. All you know is a few tricks of survival. You don't know any better about life. The only thing that has happened is you arrived here a few years earlier. That doesn't make you any greater. A child is far more close to life than you are. It's time that we understand when a child comes, it's time to relearn life, not to teach them your ways of committing suicide in installments.
And I want to finish with love.
Love is just a certain pleasantness of your emotion. People are thinking always love is about somebody. Right now, if you feel love in your heart, it happens within you. Suppose there is somebody here that you love and you're feeling this, that somebody goes away, far away, you can still sit here and experience love. Even if that person does not exist, still you can love. So this love is about you. You're just using the other person as a key to open the love within you. What I'm saying is, why are you fumbling with keys when there is no lock? Who has put this lock on you? If you are willing, your every breath will become a love affair. My life is a big love affair.
Lucky you! I'm lucky asked to interview in this interview. Sadguru, thank you very much for your time, for your energy, for your optimism, because I came with very negative questions, but this is how we perceive life. This is how the Arab viewers, unfortunately, are living their lives, most of them at least. So thank you very much for your kindness and your optimism in this interview. جزيل الشكر لكم مشاهدينا. طبعا يسعدنا كل مشاركتكم في مقابل للنقاش عبر وسائل التواصل الاجتماعي، على صفحة البرنامج على الفيسبوك، على تويتر، على يوتيوب، وموقع مؤسسة دبي على الانترنت، حيث يمكنكم مشاهدة هذه الحلقة والحلقات الماضية. دمتم بخير.